Welcome back, everyone. Dylan and I are recording another episode. It's going to be episode 13 of the podcast, doubleheader today. We are going to transition over to the NBA. The only thing we've talked about NBA wise is the Luca, I almost said Luca LeBron trade, Luca AD trade a couple weeks ago. Actually, Jesus, was that like 2 months ago now? A couple episodes ago on our podcast. We're technically an episode behind, so figured, we could just talk about the NBA so we haven't at all catch up episode wise. Win-win. So yeah, obviously playoffs start. I think the play-in is a week from Tuesday. I hate the play-in. I think it's dumb. It made sense for COVID the year after. Both seasons were obviously shorted because of COVID and its after effects, but now I just think it's ridiculous. Um, but yeah, general NBA been a pretty crazy season. Obviously, the Luca AD trade, Thunder, your team, are making an exclamation point. The betting favorites, I think at least on most websites, to win the title, best record in the league. Cavs, I think, has surprised everyone this year. Celtics, my team, kind of, I think, what most people expected. The West is completely stacked. The East, I feel like it's only us and the Cavs. Yeah, it's been a pretty crazy NBA season so far.
Yeah, if you look along some of the Western teams, I mean, I'm scared to even verse some of the bottom half of the have half of these bottom tier teams, I guess you could say, but they're really not bottom tier. I mean, you got the Lakers, I think at five. I think six is like I don't know who six is. I think it's like the Warriors are sixth. And then it gets to be like the Mavericks and then like maybe the Kings. I'm not trying to verse the Lakers. I mean, right now we're playing them right now and they're up 20. I mean, I'm looking at them right now. I know that they're up 20 right now. Lakers, I don't want to verse LeBron and Luka in the playoffs. That's scary to me. I do not want to verse the Warriors either, really. I mean, Steph Curry and what he does on a daily basis is just ridiculous. I still think we could beat the Warriors. I think we can beat the Lakers too, but I feel like that if we were to verse them, it'd be like in seven. I mean, I'd be scared to verse them. The Rockets, they are like the team that everybody is kind of picking on like their upset pick. I could see like a 7-2 kind of thing where, maybe the seventh seed, I think the Timberwolves are around there. Um, they are being picked a lot to beat the Rockets. I see that. So it's going to be weird how it shapes out, right? I know the OKC Thunder right now. I don't think they have another game. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they have like another one or two games. But I think that I think we're the front runners in the West. I don't think that's a discussion. Last year, everybody said that we were a very young team, right? And which it's fair. We're still a young team this year, but I think adding Hartenstein, for the rebounding purposes, adding certain other guys that just benefit this team all around, it's gonna be very exciting to see. We do such a good job in the draft. Sam Presti does a freaking amazing job in the draft. He does a great job in free agency. He identifies needs on this team. I think he is one of the best general managers in all of sports. I love what he does with the Thunder. I haven't really disagreed with anything he's done in the last like 3 years, which on the Giants, I can, talk about them forever about how many mistakes they've made. But Sam Presti, one of the best general managers in all of sports, knows what he needs to do, how to build this team. And it's such an advantage because the Thunder is a very small market team in the NBA, right? The NBA is not like the NFL where the NFL is like a set standard cap. The NBA is all about how big your market is to really solidify paying your players, right? And it's also more of a soft cap, right? So you could always go over the cap. It would just be in a form of luxury tax you would be paying. Um, we paid that much in luxury tax compared league guys. I know you guys are paying like 100 and something $1 million in luxury tax, which if you're winning championships, you know, there's not a bad reason to keep doing it. But that's the benefit of having a small market team and a big market team, right? The New York Knicks can pay it off. You know, Celtics can pay it off. The Golden State Warriors, they could all pay that luxury tax, right? So That's a big thing why we traded James Harden back in 2012 because we didn't want to pay $3 million in luxury tax. And I think looking back now, we would pay double, triple, quadruple of whatever that was, right? So I would say we're the probably front runners right now. It's very interesting to see how it shapes out in the next coming weeks. Chet is, looking pretty good with his health. Hartenstein looking good with his health. Shea's an MVP candidate. I saw on DraftKings he was minus 3,000 to win MVP over Jokic, who's plus 1,000, which is ridiculous. It's really wide, but I still think he gets it done with the MVP just because Jokic has won it last 2 years. But man, I mean, if we could somehow not verse the Lakers and not verse the Warriors in the first round of the playoffs, it'd be a dream come true right there.
Yeah, as of right now, unless something changes, barring injuries, I think the Thunder beat any team in a 7 game series in the West, except I think they would beat the Lakers, but that definitely is the team that would give me the most. I'm like, oh, like this is honestly a coin flip series. I mean, just to run through the teams. All right, so technically the Suns can still make the play in, but obviously if they do make the playoffs, they're just going to get wiped out by you guys immediately. Uh, Canes stand no chance. Mavs no chance. Grizzlies, that'd be interesting. They'd maybe take a game, but I don't think, especially if they just fired Taylor Jenkins, which came out absolutely nowhere. Uh, Clippers, that would be well. Oh yeah, the Clippers could fall to 8. Clippers, that'd be interesting. I think you definitely beat them though. T Wolves, that'd be interesting. Definitely think you beat them. Warriors, that would be interesting. I would probably give you guys the edge over the Warriors, but that could go either way. Nuggets, you guys kind of own the Nuggets, at least that I remember, and in the regular season, at least. Obviously, you haven't really played them in the postseason. I would give you the edge there. Rockets, I definitely give them the edge over the Rockets. And then the Lakers, we were just talking about, it's kind of an iffy, but we would lean towards OKC. The Thunder are just, I mean, even last year they were super impressive, but they didn't get much media attention just because you mentioned kind of a smaller market team. Last year, my team, the Celtics, we were just the best team in the league, so everyone, the intention was kind of on us. But the Thunder this year, better than they were last year. They were the 1 seed last year too, which they should have been a game 7 against Dallas. That Mavs got bailed out on a foul call in game 6. I mean, technically it was, I think, the correct call, but that was a bailout for the Mavs. Um, yeah, the West is interesting. I mean, right now the Grizzlies are the 8 seed, and they're tied as far as games back with the Warriors, so the 5 seed. So the 8 seeded Grizzlies in one game can get up to the 5 seed, and the Warriors can fall down to 8. And that's applies for, I mean, the Thunder and Rockets are locked into 1 and 2. Then 3 through 8 is completely volatile. I mean, the Lakers, the 3 seed, they're a game up on the 8 seeded, or a game and a half up on the Grizzlies. So the West, the standings, these last couple games like really matter for a lot of those teams. The East, I mentioned it. I mean, really, I think it's either. I feel pretty confident the Celtics are at least going to make the finals again. I think the only team that could possibly beat us in a 7 game series, barring injuries, is the Cavs, which even when the Cavs are red hot, I was still fairly confident we'd beat them. But now they've kind of come back down to earth a bit. Since they lost to the Magic, they've kind of been playing around 500 basketball. And maybe you can argue they know they pretty much have had the 1 seed clinched up. Maybe they're just taking a step back, saving some things in the playoffs. But I don't think so. They've kind of played 500 basketball. And if we do end up playing the Cavs, we'll be on the road for the series. And for whatever reason, we're a better road team than we are a home team. Um, Knicks, I would be beyond shocked if the Knicks beat us. I call them the fraud York Knicks. I think the Knicks are frauds. Um, well, they'll definitely win round 1, I think. But Pacers, I mean, they made a run last year. We swept them, but that was a very scary 4 games, especially game 1. Bucks, I didn't think really stood any chance with Dame. Obviously, his blood clots. He might come back, but even if he does, I don't think they really stand much of a chance. Pistons, they're a good story this year. Obviously, they were historically bad last year. They've like tripled their win total. Them and the Knicks, if that holds up standings wise, that'd be a good series. Then Magic, Hawks, Bulls, Heat. Those are going to be the play-in teams. Um, I hope we don't play the Hawks round one. We definitely win, I think. I'm confident in that, but the Hawks always play us tight every year. But knowing the Heat, I'm sure they'll somehow get the 7 seed and somehow go 7 with us with some G League player averaging 10 threes a game. Um, I can't stand the Heat. But yeah, like I said, I think the play-in starts next Tuesday. I mean, for both of our teams, we pretty much are playing for nothing seeding wise. I think we're kind of just dragging on. Just all right, can the postseason start? Play some meaningful basketball. But yeah, I predicted Celtics OKC finals before the year. I had us as the 1 seed. Obviously, we're not going to get that unless the Cavs lose out and we win out. Actually, I don't even know if we'd get it then. I think they might have the tiebreaker. I don't know though. Thunder gonna get the 1 seed. I still feel good about a Celtics Thunder final. Um, I guess I won't give away my pick, but feel pretty confident with my team. I'll just say still. Um, but yeah, I think I actually feel fairly decent Celtics Thunder final. I don't want to bet on it though, because I know if I do, that's not going to happen. So
Yeah, I don't blame you. I'm gonna say this. I think it's very much of a it's very much of a hard situation for my Thunder to go all the way through the Western Conference, right? Western Conference is still stacked, and I think what you said is the Lakers. You said they're third seed.
yeah,
Yep. So best case scenario, right? It's actually good that the Lakers are beating us right now because I do not want to verse the Lakers in the second round. The Lakers, um, if we're the 1 seed, they will be all the way down versing the 2 seed, right? Or if they win, it would be the two, 3, and it would be the 1 and the 4 and 5, right? So that would be the schedule. Um, with the play in, it's all weird and whatever goes
yeah,
wherever. But at the end of the day, we'll just verse, you know, if we see the Lakers, it'll be in the Western Conference Finals. I don't want to see them
yeah,
anywhere earlier. And I think the best thing for the Celtics is I mean, you guys will be versing, you know, you guys will blow out every single team until the Eastern Conference Finals. And even I think in the Eastern Conference Finals, I give the Cavs no chance. I have the Celtics in 5. I don't care about the Cavs year at all. I think whenever the Celtics can turn it up, they'll turn it up. And I think every single year we see that they turn it up in the playoffs. Of course, outside of like historical events like the Heat game last year. But I will say that the Celtics are, I mean, a top dog in the East and in the league. Um, I will say this. I I've always been a Jaylen Brown hater, and I've never been I've never been a big Jaylen Brown guy at all. But he's a huge X factor in playoff run like he was last year. Jason Tatum, certain times he settles a lot of the times for shots. And I'll be watching like the Celtics. I'll be like, when Tatum's on, he's the best player in the NBA, right? I mean, in my opinion, if he is making his shots, he's one of the best players in the NBA. And whenever he starts missing and stuff, I'm like, just get to the foul line. Like honestly, just put your head down, get to the foul line. You get a lot of superstar calls. I mean, you're a superstar in this league. You can get some, foul calls. Like why not put your head down, go to the paint and draw your fouls and get your, foul line shots. So I think with Tatum being on fire. He's one of the best players in the NBA. When he starts missing, he starts doing his turnaround jumpers from the post and off the blocks and stuff. He starts settling. There's a lot of times where I see him start settling. But I think he's a mature enough player to win them another championship. Um, I still think if the Thunder and the Celtics met in the finals. I'm going. I mean, I won't say anything, but I'm a Thunder fan, and I know you're a Celtics fan, so it's kind of hard to kind of talk about it. But I like how we've built our team this year. I think last year I would have picked you guys 100% just because you guys were the more complete team, the more healthier team, all this and all that, right? I have to go and say that the Western Conference is just it's like so unpredictable, right? I mean, we could have the 7th seed Golden State Warriors take out a contender. We could have the LeBron, 6th or 3rd seed Lakers. I mean, who knows what's going to happen, right, in the West. In the East, I think we have a better understanding of what's going on. I think the Cavs are going to blow out everybody until they get to the finals or until they get to the Eastern Conference Finals. So will the Celtics, and I think that's when the playoffs really start. I think it's when the Celtics really start versing other contenders, and I mean, who knows? Because I know that when we get to last year, I thought it was the easiest run I think you guys have ever had, in my opinion, last year. Um, I think you guys only lost like 2
3 games.
or 3 games the entire postseason. Yeah, it's insane. I mean, you guys lost to the Heat, which was a fraud win, so who cares? And you lost to an injured Mavs team twice. And I was like, oh, geez, like, they play real contending teams and, they're starting to fade a little bit, which I know you guys weren't the healthiest either, but you don't need the Avengers every single time, because last year, last year you had weapons all over the place last year. And it's the same thing this year. It's the same team. So, keeping that continuity and just, you know, another run this year, chemistry there. I can see you guys just cakewalk all the way to the finals.
Yeah, yeah, people knock us a lot for last year, saying our run was, easy because injuries. I mean, we were the top overall team in the league record wise. I think top overall team in general, pretty much everything. I mean, technically that's the way it works is if you're the best team, you're hypothetically supposed to get the easiest path. And obviously the Heat are not a team you want to play round one probably. But an 8 seed is supposed to be kind of an easy out for the first seed. Obviously they didn't have Butler, so maybe we caught a break there. Uh, Porzingis got hurt in that game though, and if they did have that fluke game where they set a franchise record for threes game two, and we still nearly won that game. The Cavs, we lost game two to the Cavs at home semis. That was a bad loss. But we didn't have Porzingis for most of our playoff run. We swept the Pacers, as I mentioned. That was, Jesus, my friggin' heart monitor on my Apple Watch would explode at the end of most of those games. And then the finals, our one loss to the Mavs was a fluke loss where I think they got everything humanly possible to go right for them. That even for Derek Lively hit a three. I'm like, yeah, it's just one of these games. But then we got to win the title at home. But we didn't have Porzingis most of the postseason. We had Big Al Horford, the GOAT. I love Horford, almost 40 years old, start most of the postseason. So, I understand if I was a Celtics hater, you know, people can make the argument the easy path. But as a Celtics fan, obviously I'm not a believer in that, obviously. Did we catch a few breaks? Sure. But did teams catch breaks and Porzingis out? Yes. And yes, I know even without Porzingis, we're still kind of the Avengers. We were stacked beyond belief. Um, there's also rumors circulating that after this year, we might have to let either Porzingis or Holiday go because the new tax rules, things like that, are really gonna, rail us from behind. Pause. But yeah, hopefully we can manage to keep one of those guys. I was, I don't know. Our owner just sold the team to avoid paying all the luxury taxes. So I mean, it was like for 6.1 billion. So obviously the guy that just bought it has money. So is he gonna like give a shit about the taxes? Is he just gonna try to win? Who knows? Um, but yeah, Lakers, they're an interesting team because kind of like the past couple of years, floating around 500 most of the year. JJ Redick, super kind of controversial out of the blue hire, floating around 500. Now they're one of the better teams in the league since the Luka trade. Warriors revived their season, kind of similar, floating around 500. Get Jimmy Butler. The Nuggets. Yeah, I think I just want the playoffs to start at this point.
Yeah, it seems like that's what we're all waiting on. I mean, it's literally just the playoffs. It's like, oh boy, it's that time of the year again. And it's hockey, it's basketball, it's pretty fun to watch. It's a lot of action-packed stuff. So um I love it. I think the plan's gonna be very interesting to see how that plays out. And whatever happens with that, I'm excited to see the path that the Thunder have to get to the Western Conference Finals if there's a chance that we, don't play any of the top premier teams. Like, like you said, it's supposed to give um, the teams that are the best the easiest path, right? So hopefully it shapes out to be good for us. And Yeah, I'm all in on the Thunder this year. I love it.
Yeah, I mean the Thun even now they're starting to get some recognition, but I mean so they're almost going to win 70 games this season, and still people are not giving them the recognition they deserve. Um, I mean, they are just they're super. Just the way they play and just the way their team is built, I just respect the hell out of them. Just they're a fun team to watch. And then even if let's say the Thunder do get to the finals, their fan base, it feels like a college environment. Their home games, so that would be super fun playing on the road in OKC. I'm sure if we're getting our asses kicked, it wouldn't feel too much fun, obviously. But yeah, and then another thing, I mentioned at the start of this video, I cannot stand the play-in. I think it's the most ridiculous thing. I was fine with it for the COVID year and the year after because there was less games. So I understand it's fair to the teams, on the bubble of making the eighth seed, the seventh seed, that you do a mini tournament to, make it fair. But now that there's 82 games, a full season, like for example, a team like the Heat that are 35 and 43 having a chance to make the playoffs is ridiculous to me. And like the West, the Suns are the 11 seed, they're 35 and 42. Like they have no business being in the playoffs this year. And every play-in team for the most part has just gotten wiped out round one, except obviously the Heat 2 years ago made the finals, even though we would have beaten them and came back down 0-3 if Dane didn't twist his ankle, but that's okay. And then the Lakers, as the seventh seed a couple years ago, made it to the conference finals and got swept by the Nuggets. But besides that, they just gotten wiped out. The NBA obviously just does it for money and ratings, extra games, high stakes. But it's just kind of annoying when you just want to put together like a playoff bracket. You don't know the exact eight seed or seven seeds. This friggin' mini tournament. Um, yeah, that's my little tangent on the play in there.
Yeah, I love I do agree with you. I think they're gonna look at it after this year. I think Adam Silver, I mean, another guy who I actually have a lot of tremendous respect for. Adam Silver, he always finds ways to try to change the game, to try to get more um followers into the game. I know this year they had a problem with ratings, but I think that helped a lot when Luca went to the Lakers. I think a lot of people started tuning in a lot more. And it's the end of the season, so a lot of people are now seeing how it's gonna, factor within the playoff regimen. So, I mean, how I see it is it's a very competitive year. What you were talking about with the Thunder, yeah, I think we have a lot of chemistry on that team. I think I love how we just all play together, right? At the end of the game, you see everybody come over, right, and to the announcer and just start, like having fun and just playing, Thunder basketball. It's awesome. Yeah, OKC, Loud City. I mean, it's ranked one of the most highest volume stadiums or arenas in the NBA, and I love it for that reason. I mean, it's something different. That's on my bucket list. I want to go to an OKC game for sure. Another thing I want to do is if the OKC Thunder and the Celtics match up in the finals, oh my God, I would travel up to Boston in a day and go watch one of those games. I mean, an playoff atmosphere environment in OKC or in Boston would be incredible. So I'm excited to see how everything plays out, like I said, but I'm very high on my Thunder this year. Last year, I did think we were a little inexp I think experience is the most overrated thing in my opinion. I think no matter where it is, you're always gonna have those nerves. You're always gonna have, you know, that anxiety about, oh, we're on the road today, we're versus them. But I'm all about it. I'm all about the Thunder. All in on this team, and I think we have a great opportunity in front of us to cakewalk right into the finals. So.
Yeah, the West is definitely a lot more interesting than the East. I mean, the East, I think, really the only teams that can win it are us and the Cavs. I think outside of that, you're going to be stretching it. I mean, the West, you can make an argument for multiple teams. I mean, the Rockets are the two seed. I mean, for me, the Rockets, like most people, I think their ceiling is probably the second round. I honestly might pick against them to lose in the first round, depending on who they play, which I feel bad. I don't want to disrespect the Rockets. My old guy Ime's over there. I mean, he's done a hell of a job this year. Even the year prior, they finished 500, but they still overachieved, I think, last year. The Rockets are interesting. I mean, the Timberwolves are getting hot. The Clippers have had like the most quiet season I think I've ever heard. Just playing little brother to the Lakers, obviously, that's pretty much their whole franchise. On the Mavs, I guess could have been interesting if they didn't get screwed over with the amount of injuries. I wouldn't have picked them or anything to make it that far, but yeah, West is definitely a lot more of a gauntlet than the East. And then if the Thunder do get out of the West gauntlet, they're most likely, I think we both agree, probably playing the Celtics. So it's just going to get tougher and tougher for them, which I guess is how it's supposed to work. But if they do it, if the Cavs somehow end up making it, though, I certainly think the Thunder will be winning the championship if they can get to the final. If any team except the Celtics somehow wins the East and the Thunder win the West, I'm picking the Thunder unless someone gets hurt or injuries, things like that.
Yeah, another thing is too, I'm very surprised that, like we mentioned it before, that the Memphis Grizzlies firing their head
Yeah.
coach after what, they were the second seed or third seed or
I
something?
had they were two and then they fell down to five, I think, and then that's when they fight him. But still, that came out of absolutely nowhere.
Yeah, like I mean, it's crazy. And now we got John Morant, doing his thing and throwing up, slinging the iron and doing all that. So, he's doing his thing. And without a coach there, I thought Marcus Smart would have a good influence on him, honestly. And then I think he took off, or he went to another team.
He's unfortunately he's poor Smart's on the Wizards. We play the Wizards in like an hour, but poor Marcus Smart.
Yeah, I thought they were going to keep him like for a certain amount of time. I thought, he was going to be a veteran towards John Morant, but I mean, that didn't work out last year even either. So, I mean, I don't know. This Memphis team, it's very it's kind of drama filled. I mean, it really is, like, especially now with just, John Morant getting fined $75,000 for, gun gestures, and then he did it again the next day, and then it's like, holy moly, dude, like just focus on basketball. Like, you have an opportunity
Uh,
in front of you. The playoffs coming up very soon where seeding is important and all that. Like John Morant, I mean, I was a huge John Morant fan. I was at Murray State. He came out of Murray State. I was a huge John Morant fan. And it's hard to kind of root for him now because he just does this to himself. Like I don't know, he just puts a lot of drama on the team, and he's got to figure it out. He's got to mature. He's got to figure it out. But I mean, that's another team. Like the Memphis Grizzlies are not a bad team. I just think that there's a lot of like bull crap going on, I mean, behind the scenes. So, um, I really would like to verse Memphis actually instead of the Lakers or the Warriors this year. I mean, the Memphis Grizzlies, it seems like, are kind of like just a team that, second round exit, maybe second round max, like for their ceiling. And then I think we could beat them. So, looking forward to how the seeding comes out. But yeah.
I'm sure the standings are going to change because they're so razor thin in the West. But right now, the Clippers are seven, Memphis is eight. So I think either of those teams would be either the Mavs or the Kings, who are at 9 and 10. So basically, right now the standings are, like the playoffs started today. You guys would either likely be playing the Clippers or the Grizzlies. So, I mean, that's not an I, especially if it's the Clippers. I think the Clippers more dangerous than the Grizzlies. But regardless, both of those teams are not. And I think you guys would beat both those teams. But I don't think either of those teams are an ideal first round matchup for a number one seed.
Yeah, it is. It's still a scary, it's still a 1-8 seed. You're like, oh, geez, like, I mean, they have some talent over there, in with the Clippers and also with the Grizzlies. But it's like I mean, technically, what is it? Last year, the Grizzlies they were decent last year, right? The Grizzlies, they were pretty
Well,
decent.
last year they were a disaster because they had like a historic amount of injuries. But the past couple of years, they've consistently been like one of the top seeds in the West for the most part.
Right. And that's the thing is, I would love to beat up on the Grizzlies this year, and I would love to beat up on the Clippers. So, I mean, you're right. I think the more dangerous team is probably the Clippers, but with a lot of the health concerns, that they've had over the last couple of years with Kawhi Leonard and Paul George. I know Paul George left and stuff, but a lot of the health concerns that they had in the past years, there's a lot of like drama over there too. I mean, Steve Ballmer and, great, one of the richest owners actually in the NBA. But I mean, I think we could beat up on the Clippers. I think we could beat up on the Grizzlies. I'm not scared of them. If I want to be generous, I'd give us in five, but I'd probably give us four. Honestly, I think we'd still win all four.
Yeah,
Um, so yeah, I mean, the playoff picture. I mean, I don't know. I don't know how it's going to shape out. The play-in does throw off everything. It really does.
yeah,
So
yeah, and yeah. I still can't believe they fired Taylor Jenkins because came out of nowhere, and then after the fact, it's saying Ja didn't like how the offense is being run, things like that. But it's like you fire him like right before the playoffs, and I know they fell from 2 to 5, but it's like it. You're obviously trying to win it all this year. They're not going to unless some miracle happens. And I don't think they would have even if they kept Taylor Jenkins. But it's like you're going to make the playoffs. If you make the playoffs, obviously you might as well try to, win the title. That's the whole goal, especially if you're in the playoffs. Um, it's like, so you're trying to win. You fire Taylor Jenkins. You really believe your interim head coach is going to help, you know, do more than get you further than Taylor Jenkins would have. It's like at least wait until after the season. Just this late, just out of nowhere. I'm like, there's gonna be some behind the scenes stuff. Like he must have done like something like egregious to like get him fired. Just came out absolutely nowhere. Whatever team gets Taylor Jenkins, it's gonna have a really, really solid NBA coach, head coach, I think.
Yeah, very much so. I mean, if you lead the Grizzlies all the way to the second seed, with the team that in the West too, it's in the West, so there's a lot of talent in the West. I would say that they did a good job with him being a coach. Really, I mean, he's one of the top coaches in the NBA, in my opinion. I think he's a solidified stud. So if you fire him and you put him on the market, they're gonna have a lot of people out there and teams that are gonna want him to come join their organization. Um, you know, I don't know how, I don't know why they did that because you're right, like an interim head coach, like that throws off like everything when it comes down to like the season, team that was outperforming and just a boom, big bombshell went off. It's like, all right, well, you just threw a wrench in the plans, and now we have to look for some type of like motivation to keep playing for him. And like, oh, why did we get, like, I don't know, don't like it. I think the Grizzlies, I mean, that's the thing though. The Grizzlies have never been a premier organization, and these are the reasons why. I mean, it really is. This is exactly why. So, I mean, we'll see how they do in the playoffs, but hopefully we get them in the first round.
Yeah. Yeah, that'll be interesting to see how it shoots out. At least in the East, it looks like the bracket might play out like pretty similar to how it did last year. Because right now, obviously, I'm going to assume us and the Cavs advance. We played round two last year. We'll probably play round three this year. It looks like the Knicks and the Pacers are setting up for a round two matchup. That'd obviously be a rematch of round two last year. Um, so yeah, the East looks pretty similar. The West is, I feel like every year, the East is usually whichever team wins it, it's a cakewalk, and the West is just like fighting for every single point. It feels like the entire playoffs.
Yeah, it's
Um,
gonna be exciting seeing the Knicks fans again this year. Even winning one game in the playoffs probably against I mean, they're just, I don't know. I just love
yeah,
watching New York Knicks fans every year, just kind of celebrating and stuff. Reminds me a little bit of my Giants fan base, but you know, I don't know. The Knicks fans they're different for sure. It's funny.
yeah. Them and the Pistons. It looks like that's probably going to be the first round matchup. Well, actually, the Bucks and them are Bucks and Pistons are fighting for between 5 and 6, the 5 and 6 seed. But Knicks Pistons, that'd be an entertaining match. I definitely think the Knicks would win, but I think the Pistons could make that interesting. I definitely think they'd at least win a game, probably two. That'd be interesting. See how that series played out.
I could see that going to 7. I mean, honestly, I mean the Pistons are very underrated this year. I mean, Cade Cunningham was out for a certain period of time. Um, this I think it was like this past week he was out for extended amount of time. Jalen Duren just went down, I think, not too long ago either. So hopefully the Pistons are healthy enough to where I think they can compete with the Knicks. I think the Knicks, um, yeah, like you said, the fraud Knicks, right? I mean, I don't know. I'm not really a big Knicks guy this year, especially with just how it played out for them this year. Michael Bridges looks like, not very good. OG Anunoby actually is doing decent this year. But the Pistons can give them a really good scare. So I'm excited to see if they could contend a little bit in there.
Yeah, the Pistons and the Rockets are kind of the two teams in the East and the West that it's like people are going to pick against them, but maybe they're a dark horse team. And I think absolute ceiling of both teams is probably the second round, but there are definitely some interesting teams there. Um, but yeah, I guess we'll obviously save like our bracket predictions and stuff like that for an episode for the playoffs. It's just, like I said, it's just a drag at this point. It's been a drag most of the season, honestly. Now that we won the title, it's like we just want the playoffs to start at this point. So yeah, I think next Tuesday. So yep, about yeah, a little bit more than a week. We're almost there. We're almost there.
Yep. Yep. I know. I'm excited to fill out the bracket. We got to wait till this play-in concludes so we get the full bracket.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah, seriously. I know I do one on the past couple years. I've done one with the play-in, but then I have to end up redoing it 'cause the friggin' my play-in picks are wrong. I just hate the play-in. I guess it gives them more incentive to, not like rest starters if you're like this bordering on the 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, things like that. But it's just I don't know. It's definitely just a money grab on the NBA's part.
100%.
But it's not like I'm gonna like protest and not watch the games. Of course, I'm gonna watch the games still. But um, yeah, we'll end the video here, I guess. Thank you guys for tuning in. Be on the lookout for the next topic. We'll figure out something probably in a couple days, something like that. So thank you guys for tuning in. Hope you enjoyed. Take it easy, guys.